coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee break with me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Coffee Break with Candace. I'm your co-host, David Marino, and Candace joins me today. Hi, Candace. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
It's great to see you, and we're actually doing a show together, which is always awesome. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Absolutely.
And I know you and me are both excited to talk about our guest today. She is the reason that Austin Music TV exists. She actually founded Austin Music TV to give musicians an outlet for their art and people like you and me, Candace, a place to share our stories. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Sheila Steele. Sheila, welcome to Coffee Break with Candace.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you guys.
Well, we are so excited again to be talking to you today. And first, I'll just start with, what was the idea behind starting Austin Music TV? What sort of was the catalyst for you when it came to starting the channel?
For me, it all became because people never would go out and support live music, and I never understood that. And so I started asking around, like, well, why don't you support live music? And a lot of them really, they didn't know the musicians, they didn't know the venues on where to go, so they just didn't go out. You know, they don't want to. They just don't know where to go. And so I felt like I could basically showcase about 14 different musicians in a weekly episode, and then promo their upcoming show, so that if you watched a whole episode, it's a mix of genres, and so you can watch, and some of them you'll like, some you might not have interest, but at least there's something there. And then you can go support them. You can, oh, I like that band. Well, I'm going to go, now I know where to go, kind of thing. So if you want to get the backstory of how I got into actually getting it on TV, was I volunteered for a friend's project, Phoebe Hunt. And the first week was at Austin Studios, and then the second week was at Wire Recording Studios. So the first week, at the end of doing that week there, they had a producer's class, and meeting all the people that worked at Austin Public, and my history in the film industry, they said, you should just stay for a class. And so I ended up staying. And then when I left, I ended up signing up for an hour time slot and went home and had no idea what I was going to do with this hour time slot. I was like, what am I going to do? Because being in the music industry, and I thought, oh, we could bring bands in and record them and put them on TV, kind of thing. But that was way out of my league at that point. I'm a one-man show here. So I just kind of was like, well, I know a lot of musicians have music videos, so why don't I reach out to my friends, my musician friends, and get permission to air their videos. And it all started there. It started in 2014, and I just curated an episode with 14 artists and been doing it. Now we're on season 20.
Wow.
Yeah. And the way it's set up is musicians can submit their music videos. So this to me kind of really feels like this is Austin's POV on the music scene, because it's by musicians. You submit it and it's quality and everything is there. You're on air. Like I want to support everybody. And the one thing that I love about it is actually from the submissions, I've like discovered new music that I didn't even know about. So to me, it's a great discovery of our local talent. And I really feel like, you know, there's so much here in your backyard that I encourage everybody to go support the scene, go see the music, pay the cover, tip the band, and buy the merch is our motto. But I feel like a lot of people also are kind of focused on all the big bands that come into town. And I feel like the locals are the heartbeat of Austin, because they're the ones playing every week. They're the ones, all playing all the time. So I just feel like I wanted to have more support for our local community.
I think of all the times to support musicians and artists, now is the time. I mean, we've come off a year where especially artists have really been dealt a blow when it comes to being able to perform. And this is such a great outlet for them. What have you heard from some of those artists over the years that maybe this was the only way to get their music out there?
This is another platform, and you could almost consider it like a venue, because it's reaching audiences that I don't think you would normally reach, through, you've got your radio, you've got social media, all of those, YouTube and things like that. Whereas this to me is another way. And you're going into people's living rooms, and I feel like with the other platforms and stuff, especially with the YouTubes and the Facebook, with music being streamed on there, a lot of people are actively searching for those musicians to watch their shows. Whereas this is, you're flipping through the channel and there it is. And so it's in the background, it's there. And I just feel like it's another outlet to get your music out there.
Aside from just music though, we actually see different types of shows on the channel. Can you tell me how that all came into play over the years?
So actually this all just happened during the pandemic. I felt like it kind of opened up some opportunities during the pandemic, which was, it was a blessing in disguise. So basically the station had the ability for our producers to go live remote, live on location. We did not have that before. Before, you would actually go in the studio and go live from the studio. Whereas now we're able to go live on location anywhere. And during the pandemic, everybody started streaming and started doing different things on social media. And there were a handful of musicians that I know, and just kind of, watching it over during the pandemic and stuff. And a few of them stood out to me, and I reached out to them and basically asked, what kind of streaming software are you using? And pretty much a lot of them were already on the streaming services that we need to be able to broadcast to the station. And so I just started reaching out to some people, and they were ready. They were already using the software. So it was just a matter of coordinating the schedule. And next thing you know, we have 14 producers now, or 14 shows. I have a couple producers that have like 2 shows that are happening. And Candace, I've worked with Candace before. She, back in the day, I got funding from the Cultural Arts Division. And with that, we had to do some special events. And I was so blessed to have Candace be a part of that. We did a big event at ABGB. And knowing her over the years, I knew that she had done something similar, like this coffee break with Candace in the past. And so I just reached out, and here we are.
And I'm so glad you asked. I really am. This has been, so much fun to do. And then now to have a co-host, to have David be a part of this as well. So I appreciate you, Sheila. You do so much, and you're so humble and so modest. I mean, you put a lot of time and work and all. in all of these shows and in all the producers that are part of this.
Thank you. You know, I love what I do. And for me, I like I said, I come from the industry. I come from film and television. So that's in my wheelhouse. Like I know I worked on Friday Night Lights, and that was a weekly, you know, series. And so I understand that turnaround and things like that. So this is a natural kind of thing. It's just basically combined my film and television experience and created Austin Music TV. And so I think it just works. I'm surprised. You know, I mean, I didn't realize, and you know, and I still love it. And that's the thing is my passion is every day, you know, a new project. We have a show, special events that I'm putting on. A certain musician reached out to me and they have a montage of music videos. And so we're doing a special premiere. And so it's fun.
That's
like, all
awesome.
these new things keep coming up. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I think it's a great way to bring our community together and creative people together on this one platform. That's why I kind of have Austin Music TV as the umbrella of, you know, everything, of all the producers and everything. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong.
We know it's a lot of work. And you have so many producers you're working with, and you have your own weekly show that you do where you have all the various music videos of various genres. How long does it take you to put that hour-long show together?
You know, I usually, it's my weekend. I mean, I'm spending, a full day over. And when I first started, it was definitely very time consuming, but now overdoing it over the years, I've gotten a little better, and I know the artist, and I know what music videos. And so what happens is, for instance, right now I've got a couple submissions, new music videos so anytime I get those submissions, they're in that next week's episode if I can put them in. And then you know, I also reach out to a lot of musicians to get their music videos and stuff. I like to really feature all of the more of the underground musicians, because you have the big names and everybody, and I have them in the episodes as well, but I really like focusing on more of the independent artists and stuff like that. So you know, I hope that answers your
Oh no, it does. I mean, it seems like it takes a little while, and I say that because, because having watched your show, there's definitely, you know, you're up and then it's chill. I mean, there's a vibe, there's a mood to your shows. So
Absolutely.
It's not like you just put 10 videos together and go, let's
Exactly.
So I mean, there's a lot of intention there.
There is. And yes, that's what I always do. So I'll edit it together. A lot of times sound also kind of delegates my whole, like what's first, because videos come in at different levels of sound. Some are really loud and some are not. And so you have to be careful with that, because I don't like messing with the audio, because it may cause, I just don't like messing with the audio. So what I like to do is I start off kind of with more of the a little louder ones, and then go to the other ones. But in curating it, yes, I'll edit it together, and then I do a sound check. I pretty much watch the episode, check titles, do the sound check, and then after that, edit, you know, according to what the flow, because you watch it and there's a certain feeling, and I know a lot of backstory to certain videos, so there's definitely a lot of themes and things that people don't even know, but I think it's fun that it's like, oh, this person's in this video, I'm gonna put that person in this, and then I also will do like themed episodes and stuff. You know, I did, you know, there's just a variety of options. So yeah, curating the episodes I really like that. That's the creative spirit, and piecing these songs together and what that looks like. It's definitely, it's not just thrown together for sure. There is a reason behind that editing process. So yeah, I think and over the years, I feel like I've learned so much. And now even now I'm like, oh, I would not have known to do this 5 years ago when I was, and so it just constantly is evolving. And really, I really strongly, I always go by, once you put the pen to the paper, things happen. You can sit there and think about things. And for me, that's how I do everything. It's like, you think about something, not even with the show or anything. I always get so inspired, because once you think of something, put the pen to the paper, it just evolves. And that is the beautiful thing. And I always go back to that. I'm like, just remember, because sometimes you get stuck and it's just, but if it just, so I try to like think about that. I'm like, oh yeah, once I start writing this out, and then it just comes, everything starts to happen. I think it gets me through.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As Candace was saying earlier, you are very humble. You don't like to talk about yourself, but we have to talk about some of the things that you've accomplished aside from Austin Music TV. You actually had a very successful career in the film industry. Can you talk about that and what you did in the industry?
So from 94 to 97, I was an extra in pretty much every film that shot here in Austin. I loved it. I was going to school. I was at ACC, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and started taking my general studies there. And at the same time, I was able to work as an extra, and I would get paid to like do my homework and be on set. It was a great part-time thing. And then the more and more I did, I realized I really liked behind the scenes. And so being on set, I just fell in love with it. And so then I realized, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I ended up transferring into UT, into the RTF department. And at the same time, I was able to get like school credit for certain films that I worked on. Like I want to say it was the faculty, Miss Congeniality. Those were a few of the beginning ones where I was getting school credit for those projects, and just continued doing the extras. So then, now I was working for the extras casting company that was hiring me. So I was, getting the school credit and working for them. And during that time, the owner ended up selling the company, and she sold the company, and then ended up she was working on more commercials, which I had never done anything like that, principal casting. And so it was great because I was doing extras casting, and then we were doing principal casting for commercials and things like that. And then the company, we just kept growing, and then turned into principal casting, and kind of more and more, because we were doing like Friday Night Lights, and that was just a full time to where somebody else did the extras on that kind of thing. And so I just kind of evolved into more of the principal casting, and I have to share, we did get an Emmy for Friday Night Lights.
That's awesome.
That is
Oh my
so
gosh.
cool.
So I'm very proud of that. And then in 2011 is when you could say I retired from the film industry. I worked on Bernie with Richard Linklater, and I got a main title credit on that, and that was huge for me. So I'm very proud of that, and it was a great project to work on. So then I pretty much, that was a big chunk of my life from 94 to 2011, and I just needed to, it's a 24/7 kind of job. I mean, you're on set, it's a 16+ hour day. So that is your life. The film industry is your life. And so I just felt like it was time to kind of step back and see, I just had to step back for a little bit. And so I ended up like starting my own business, and I was wholesaling flower hair clips to a bunch of boutiques around town, but I really didn't really make any money off of that. So I kind of had to retire that idea, and ended up now I work for an audiologist here in town. And with that, so now it was good, but then I started, I was always missing the film industry too. That was still a big part of my life. And that's why when Phoebe asked me to help her on this project, I was like, oh, I could do something, something like, back into that. So, and that just opened up that opened us up to Austin Music TV. So like I said, being in the industry, that's why I was like, oh, this is of course what I should be doing now. And it gave me my passion back for the industry, and then still be able to, work. I love my job as an audio, working for an audiologist, and that's very rewarding because hearing is very important. And so that is very fulfilling. So I feel like everything now, I feel like I'm right where I need to be, so very blessed.
And I love the Emmy. I want to hold that Emmy one day.
Yeah, it's heavy. I'm like, oh yeah, oh right. I know, it was so funny. I was like, do I show the Emmy? I was like, yeah, why not?
Absolutely. I mean, you worked hard for that.
Yeah. So I, it was great. Yeah.
So what do you see for the future for Austin Music TV? What are your plans, or what would you like to see moving forward?
I would love for us to be national. Like, I would love to be picked up, at least any of my producers, I want an Emmy for all my producers. All my producers get Emmys. Okay. That's our goal. Is I would honestly just really like right now, I really would like a lot of my musicians to go live on location at the clubs. I feel like all of the venues, it would be great if I'm starting to see a lot of venues streaming their shows. The Antones just did one recently with Jackie Benson. That was amazing. And I was like, yes, this is what we need. And it would be great to, my vision, okay, number one, how do the musicians get paid from that streaming or broadcasting to TV? So that's always been a thing for me, trying to figure out how the musicians get paid. But again, you could do a pay-per-view thing or something like that. So originally, having all these producers that are playing music on their streams and stuff, I was just like, once we open up, then plan on going live. But it's not that easy. Okay, it's just not. Technically, it's you're dealing with Wi-Fi, you're dealing with the setup. For me, I want the musicians to play their music. I don't want to add an extra layer of something to that. Sure. And that's where I was like, okay, maybe it's the venues that need to be set up, to have a crew, I was thinking, well, Austin Film Society is a part of Austin Public. What if we could get some crew, some interns or something like that to, run those shows? And so, there's a lot. That would be my ideal thing, because I've seen clubs do it, and it would be great. You do the first hour, and then it's only the first hour because we want you to come to the show and see it live. But also, you have people that don't live here. And so it would be great for them to at least see a little bit. And that's where the pay-per-view, I think, could come in. I'm not sure what that looks like. But I do think, or sold out shows and things like that. So there's a lot of logistics that I'm still trying to wrap my brain around and what that really looks like. But that I wanted us to be the live streaming capital of the world. What if we had a network, right? And you could go to you pay a subscription, and you could just click on all these different venues, right? I mean, that is like, that's
That's an
kind of
awesome idea.
It really is.
to where, you know, you just pay the subscription and then you have access. What if you're having a party at your house? You could actually have it on in the background and have music and, you know, watch the shows. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there. I just, you know, I'm the creative one. I need a business person to the business mind of it, because I was just like, how do we do that? How it seems like we could do something like that. So, you know, that would be my dream, but I need a dream team too to facilitate that kind of concept. So there's stuff in the wheel, like in the making of other ideas, but I just love, you know, growing and getting. Right now, I have a couple new series coming up. Thanks to Candace, got a couple recommendations, and so I'm really excited. It's just, it keeps growing, and I love the diversity of the shows too. So I'm like, oh, maybe we need now a workout show or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun too. But I mean, a lot of the things that are happening have come from, they started with you, and then you have all these branches. And so because you gave me an opportunity, and then you said, I'd like to see this. I'm like, oh, I know some people. Let me talk to them and let's connect and see if we can make that happen. But it really is because of your ideals. I think sometimes things don't grow, you know, like you see the vision, but everybody else has to catch up to you. So I think that's what's happening now. We're catching up with you. We're on board, and more people are going to do the same. They're going to come to, and amazing things are going to happen, because what you're doing is putting out all these positive, you know, positive shows. The music is positive. You're supporting musicians, and now more than ever, that's, as David mentioned, it's just so critical. So I see all the good you're doing, and all I can think is when I hear you, you know, suggest something, or you say, I have this idea, I just think, you know, that's going to happen, because it's a great idea. And
Well,
so thank you for everything you do. I know you like to be behind the scenes, but now that we've seen your Emmy, like,
yeah.
our lives are better for it, and we're like, oh, Sheila's been hiding her light. We got to get her out there a little bit more in the front.
Yeah,
So,
well, thanks to you. I really appreciate, because I'm very just like, I'm very behind the scenes and very humble. I just wanted to play, you know, I just want to play. I want to be a part, you know, I want to be a part of the group, you know, so I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. It really
oh,
does.
you're so welcome. Like I said, you're doing amazing things, and just supporting so many, you know, people in terms of moving them forward in their own dreams and the things that they really want to do. Like, that's amazing just in and of itself.
Well,
So
I just want to hopefully inspire people to, you know, not only get out of your comfort zone, but also, which you're getting me out of my comfort zone. But I think it's a great way to, because it's not until somebody else kind of supports your idea when you really, really have the means to do it.